Hi, friend. I cannot wait to share with you about weekend number 9 of yoga teacher training. So, the word of the weekend is passion. And the reason that I chose this word for this weekend is because I got to witness so many people teaching their passion. And so I witnessed someone teaching about children's yoga, mudras, meditation, hip-hop yoga, mirroring, all of these things, adjustments, so many things. And a different person taught all of these things, and it's because everyone has a different passion. And so this just really anchored in everything that I feel like I say as a marketing coach for yoga teachers, in that when you teach what your passion is, it just comes through. You can't even help how awesome that you are as a teacher, because it just comes through in how you teach, and your students can feel it. So for me, I thought about what a different experience would have been if someone else taught that class, someone that didn't necessarily have the passion. And so, not to stand on my marketing soapbox too much, but if you aren't sure what your passion is, please download the freebie that I have. It's a free guide, and it just kind of walks you through these questions, and you can really identify what your passion is. And if you're a new yoga teacher, like I'm going through the training right now, you may not know what your passion is. So say yes to the things and figure out what that passion is, so that you can share that passion with your students. So, okay, on to what I learned. First things first, children's yoga. It was all about children's yoga on Friday night of training, and while this is not my passion, it was a passion of someone else's, and it was so different. Oh my gosh. There's different names for the poses, and the way in which we learn children's yoga was actually to become or embody our 7-year-old self. And we actually took a class like a 7-year-old. This was fascinating to me because I don't know that I could truly embody my 7-year-old self, but I did my best and tried. But the interesting thing is that everyone in the room was being their 7-year-old self, and some people were really like poking fun at the next person and like kicking them with their feet and like raising their hand or not raising their hand. And it was really interesting to see how we embodied our 7-year-old self and learned in that way. So it was very interesting, and again, not my passion, but I totally enjoyed learning all about it. Then the next day we learned about mudras, and let me tell you, I do have a passion for mudras. I don't know very much about mudras. This is something I'm just learning through yoga teacher training, like so many others that go through training, and I'm fascinated with them. We learned, we put our hands into the specific ways in which the different mudras your hands are placed. And while we sat there in making that mudra with our hands, the teacher was reading what that mudra represents and what it stands for and the feelings that it embodies, and it was so good. It was so good. I'm fascinated. It was in the middle of training. Well, not in the middle. It was afterwards. Once we saw the book that she was reading from, I immediately put it in my Amazon cart, and I can't wait to get it because I was super excited about it. So we learned all about that, and then it was adjustments and assisting people in class. Hands-on adjustments. Mind blown. Super mind blown, because it was just incredible how that's one thing that's a little bit nerve-wracking as a new teacher, I think, like touching someone else's body. How do you do that? How do you do that in a way that they're going to respond well? And the teacher that taught about this was really, really good at what she does. And it was fascinating to me how much it can help someone that's struggling in a pose or not even knowing that they're struggling. So a specific example I have, which was just amazing. I guess I have never had an adjustment in triangle pose before, but it was one of the ones that we went through. We had hours of adjustment training, so we went through a lot of poses. And in that one, it's really hard to describe. This is one of the things that I think is really critical to learn in person. I'm such a fan, as everyone knows, about online learning. This is just the one thing that I'm not certain would be really easy to do online, but the rest of everything can totally be done online. But when you are walking up to someone, going hip to hip to try and adjust where their hips are and in alignment with the rest of their body, there is this amazing support and comfort when you do it in the right way. Maybe right or wrong is not the correct term, but the way that we were taught, it was fascinating to me because it felt so good. And the partner that I had, we were doing this to each other, and she was like, she like adjusted me first. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. And she kind of laughed. And then, but when I did it to her, she said the same thing. It was so phenomenal. So what a hands-on adjustment can do for someone is so worth the awkwardness of learning how to place your hand on someone's body. It was just like super remarkable to me how much I learned in that training. And then we went on to gentle yoga. So we learned the difference between gentle and restorative. I kind of thought they were the same thing. Never really thought too much of, the difference of it, but it's so different. Restorative is 4 or 5 poses in which you're really not moving. You're laying in a pose for 20 minutes. Gentle yoga is movement. It's like vinyasa, that you are moving through something. It's just really slow and use of a lot of props. The interesting part for me was during the training, we talked about gentle flow, understood the difference, but then the teacher said, okay, so the likelihood of you teaching at a studio is high, and the way that you're going to teach at a studio is you're probably going to get on the sub list. Once you're on the sub list, you will probably be asked to sub a gentle class. You'll probably be asked to teach that class in an hour. Like, get the phone call, and then you have to teach it in an hour. And so many yoga teachers have said that they didn't feel equipped to teach a gentle class in that short amount of time. So you've got about 20 minutes to create a sequence and then go teach it. So what we did was exactly that. They gave us 20 minutes to create a sequence. We didn't have to teach it afterwards, but we just had to create it. And you are looking at the person who was driving the struggle bus during that exercise. I have 2 amazing women sitting next to me. They are just rocking it out. They're writing this sequence, and I am staring at a blank piece of paper. Actually, it was my computer screen. Let's be honest. I was not writing this on paper. So I don't know what to do, and I'm sitting there, and I feel like I have 2 choices. I can pretend I know what I'm doing. Yes, I got my sequence. Raise my hand, say I got it. All the things, fine, I'll figure it out later. Or I can ask for help, because some people do this better than others. And I'm still learning, and it really helped me reflect on the yoga teacher marketing side of things and how I could be asked to teach marketing in an hour, and I could be ready in 20 minutes. I have no doubt about that. I have the content. I wouldn't have a pretty handout probably, but I would be ready and I could teach. And that's where the confidence comes in. I don't have that from a yoga teacher standpoint yet, but it comes with practice, and it also comes from asking for help. And so I asked my fellow classmates for help, and we worked through it, and it was so much easier with help. And I just adored that because I was just able to ask for help, and there it was. So it was really impactful for me to really kind of reflect on that, as asking for help when you need it. There's no shame in that. It's great. And how powerful it can be when someone can help you with what they're strong at. I had 2 people just really ready to help, and it was wonderful. And then the next day, Sunday was so fun because we started with Hiphop Yoga. Oh yeah. If you don't know that I love hip hop music, please know this now, that you should know this about me. It may not fit what you think you're seeing, but I love hip hop music. The beat is awesome, and sometimes the words are not great, but I really enjoy hip hop music, and so it was a blast. And let me tell you that the teacher has such a passion for it. She actually teaches hip hop and rock yoga, so rock and roll yoga. And I think that is just so amazing that you can jump into such a specific thing as a yoga teacher and earn a living doing it. That's what I talk about all the time. So she really embodies that and did a fantastic job. We had a great class, It challenged me. My knee hurt so bad afterwards, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And it was just really enjoyable to go through something so different. And it was really a huge stress relief, because at one point she said, "Are you thinking about what you're going to have for lunch right now?" No. What I was thinking about was getting the move right, of like having fun and doing the thing and moving in such a different way than we typically do in a yoga class. So it was a lot of fun, got me out of just the stressful, like, and it wasn't really stressful environment, but all the thoughts in your head just go out the window because you're just having fun with music. So it was a blast. And then once we got out of our hip hop yoga phase, it was time to learn about mirroring. All I have to say is it's hard. It's hard. It's important, but it's so hard. I do think I heard a yoga teacher once make a joke about getting right and left. It's the opposite. See? Mirroring, it's so hard. But getting a tattoo on her hands so that she could mirror. And I understand, because it is hard. It is so hard. It is so hard. But super important. And the way we learn that is by watching the person not mirror and trying to follow the words and the visual that we're seeing. It's really, really difficult to do both at the same time. So mirroring is important. It's really hard. I'm going to keep practicing, but it's super, super hard. Just not going to pretend that it's not. It was just really hard, but it was a great time learning. And yeah, this weekend was all about passion, teaching your passion, being passionate about what you're doing. And you're a yoga teacher, so you're already passionate about the idea of yoga, the practice of yoga, so you might as well even get more specific and be passionate about a certain thing so that your students can experience that passion. Until next time, see you later.